get involved, participate in these activities that also increase what they get as an income. This is what we are talking about.
The needed change may only be realized when Africans imbibe a sound entrepreneurial culture.
Some of us here in Africa will rather keep the money abroad, not invest in Africa. And by doing that, you are not creating confidence. You have to invest your own money as an African to create confidence for the foreigners to bring in their money. Unless you do that, it's not just going to happen. I mean, the size of company that we're in today, even 5 years or 7 years away, we never ever expected to be this big. But the opportunities are there.
And owing to the opportunities for businesses to grow on the continent, there is a call to pay back through effective tax compliance.
We are told that we have been, as a continent, a net long-term provider of resources to of money to other continents. The flow, 1.4 trillion in the last 30 years, flowing out of this continent. What are we doing? What are our governments doing to stop tax dodging, to stop this hemorrhage of resources so that we put it back in our people? That is the question.
There is no doubt that Africa is rising, but the concern is the extent to which it will rise, and this can only be determined by what the leaders take back home to execute at the end of this summit. Bolaji Akinwale for Channels Television News.
Well, the coverage of the World Economic Forum Africa was another feather in our cap, as Channels Television was the official broadcaster of WEFA 2014. And the year also ended on a high for Channels Television as the station emerged the 9th-time winner of the Television Station of the Year award. It was the 9th award for Channels Television and eyeing the 10th.
Well, we sure deserved that award. Another event that drew international attention was the tragic death of 115 people on September the 12th, when a guest house belonging to the Synagogue Church of All Nations caved in at the Kotuegbe area of Lagos. Now, among the dead were 84 South African adherents of the church, led by Pastor Temitope Joshua. The collapse occurred when construction work was going on to add 3 more floors to the two-story building, and both the Lagos State Governor, Babatunde Fashola, and President Goodluck Jonathan visited the site of the collapsed building at various times, while the bodies of South African victims were later airlifted to their country for burial.
A very unfortunate incident indeed, but in sports it was a mix of joy and pain for Nigerians. Perhaps the most memorable source being football, both male and female. Women's football witnessed spectacular performances by Nigeria in international engagements. In October, the senior female national team, the Super Falcons, won the African Women's Championship in Namibia. It was Nigeria's 9th continental title. The under-20 side, the Falconets, had in August defied all odds and made it to all the way to the World Cup in Canada, where they lost narrowly to Germany in the final. Well, in men's soccer, Nigeria's national team, the Super Eagles, also put up a decent performance in the July 2014 World Cup in Brazil, but crashing out in the second round. The Eagles would later break Nigerian hearts on November the 19th when, as defending champions, they failed to qualify for the African Cup of Nations. The Super Eagles avoided a home defeat by South Africa's Bafana Bafana, coming from behind to secure a 2-2 draw. But it just was not enough. Well then, that was how the year 2014 unfolded in the news in and around Nigeria. So, Anne, we'd just like to ask our viewers, we'd just like to thank our viewers for keeping faith with us up till this moment when we have reviewed the key moments of 2014, the outgoing year.
I think well, we're hoping that the next year, in very few hours, we'll be moving into 2015, and we're all hoping that 2015 will be a better year.
Well then, before we go, we'd like to recap perhaps one of the defining moments in Nigerian broadcasting, and it's the Channels Television Award, the 9th award as the television station of the year. Now, that was among several awards the television station won, both nationally and internationally, but it was the Nigerian Media Merit Awards, the 9th one for Channels Television. Check this out. The number 9 symbolizes inspiration, patience, perfection of ideas, and the reward for tests. It's also the number of achievement. And reward for achievement is what Channels Television has been bestowed with at the Nigeria Media Merit Awards in Owerri, the Imo State capital. For yes, you guessed right, the 9th time. The excited representatives of the most honored, most decorated television station in Nigeria step up to pick the coveted prize, and their joy knows no bounds.
I was a bit confident that this is going to come our way again, but we've got to work harder towards the next one.
The host governor cannot but doff his hat for once again the station of the moment.
To have maintained 9 consecutive winning is something that must be applauded. So, Channels Television, I salute you.
Number 9 also makes it a hat-trick of NMMAs for the station, an unbroken run since 2012. With several other international honors in the bag, Channels Television is arguably the station to beat. But we still aim to stay at the top. So it's back to the drawing board. Charles Aruka for Channels Television News.